car again, Roy. Well, I went to see Roy and Bob on the mountain in the water. And the carving?
Good evening, sports fans. It's what time is it?
July
now?
the 23rd.
No, it's not July the 23rd.
I'm sorry,
it's July the 3rd. 3:30.
3:25.
3:25 on a sunny afternoon, and we are here on
Helen Gotham's in Mountainside and Summit, New Jersey, and we are enjoying a get-together of the Cumming clan, right? First of all, I have to try the sound system here. When I was in Bell Telephone Laboratories in 1929,
Tell us about your days at Bell Telephone Laboratory.
we used to say, "She was waiting at my lawn. John took father's shoebox out." You never heard of that, did you? Okay, that shows you how far I go back. We are here gathered to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the ending of the Revolutionary War, in which our ancestors took so prominent a part. We have about 8 ancestors in the Revolution who were citizens of Newark, New Jersey, 200 years ago or more. And they were all, most of them were members of the First Presbyterian Church, in which we just had a very nice ceremony. And we are here. It was really more or less an excuse for this social gathering. So unless anybody else is interested in what happened to my ancestors and your ancestors, I suggest that we go to more interesting facts. Do you want to know more?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that, by the way, my name is Alec Cumming. I'm sure you all know and love it. It's my father, Alexander Donald Cumming. Now, I think my name was named after, I was almost supposed to be named Alexander McWhorter Cumming, who we will talk about a little more in detail as time goes on. But I have to thank my father for putting together a pretty good family history of at least some of the people of our ancestry in the Cumming family, the people in the past. And as a result of this, we decided to have a celebration today, a commemoration, during a regular service of the old First Church, Presbyterian Church of Newark, in which they welcomed us. And so I guess we'll try to do it in the interview format or whichever way it would be.
I think I should mention that no less.
Grab it up at the top.
Okay. No less than about 8 of our ancestors suffered and fought. Am I doing all right? In the War for Independence that finally ended 200 years ago this year. They've been virtually forgotten by most of the 220 million Americans who have been enjoying the fruits of their labors. Oh, that. From now on, it's an X-rated film, okay? That was Roy Nelson, my sister Catherine's husband from Brooklyn. So now you know. Roy Nelson, who is the oldest member here. He's 86 this year. Okay, now, to get serious again, our 8 ancestors and a handful of others, no more than about 2,000 other people, have gained independence for our great nation, have instituted our democracy by our Constitution and its Bill of Rights. And we think most of these people have forgotten everybody, including our ancestors and including most of the other people that we would like to offer also. And we just want to get together and honor these great people in the Revolution who gave so much of their lives to bringing democracy to the United States. John Noble Cumming, our great-great-grandfather, the Reverend Alexander McWhorter, his son-in-law, Captain Joseph Hedden Jr., his father, Sarah Canfield Hedden, his mother-in-law. Dr. William Burnett Sr., who, let me see, he was the another son-in-law of John Noble Cumming, Dr. William Burnett Jr. and Josiah Hornblower. These people were all instrumental in bringing this great democracy to fruition. And we are here very happy to acknowledge what they have done for us. And in addition, we just want to meet one another. We have here about 40 people, a great many of whom have not seen each other for the last 20 or 30 years. And so we're all together in a great celebration. All right, thank you, Alec.
And we'll take a little break.
Anybody else want to come?
We'll be back right after this.
Oh, look at that. Where did you get this from? Oh, Patty, look at there you got something on. Oh, you keep that. You keep that, boy. I guess it's yours. You should have it.
Okay. I should first explain that in this gathering there are 6 members of the older generation. We are the ones who are the great-great-grandchildren of General John Noble Cumming of the Revolution. So we will do them first. Now this is my sister Catherine Cumming Nelson, who was the oldest member here. Is that correct, Catherine?
That's correct, Donald. Yes, sir.
I would like to say, you were born in 1900,
That's right, September 29th, 1900.
and you married Roy Buchanan Nelson,
Yes,
and you have one daughter.
that's right.
What's her name?
Elizabeth Bailey
Elizabeth Bailey, and you have lived at 639 Wyoming
Avenue, yes.
and
Since 1915,
since 1915,
right.
which is how many years?
Oh, I don't know how many years, 70-something. Well,
Can you think of anything else?
No, I
interesting
can't,
you
only
could
that
say?
it's a lovely gathering here, and I think we're just 2 dears.
2 bears, and there you are. All right, now, I would like to introduce my cousin Helen Cumming Gotham, right?
Right.
You married Walter Gotham.
Yes.
And what year?
In 1923,
And what children did you have?
I have a son, Robert W. Gotham,
Right.
and a daughter, Margaret Ann Gotham.
All right. And what about their children? Tell me about
well,
their
now
children.
they have Robert W. Gotham
Yes.
has 3 lovely children. Gotham.
All right.
While Peggy and Fred Becker have Rick Becker and Susan Becker.
Oh, very good.
Uh-huh.
Now,
They're
as
all
you-
lovely children too.
I'm sure they are.
I'm proud of them.
I'm sure they are. Do you remember? I should mention that our fathers,
Yes.
my father was Alexander McWhirter Cumming.
Yes, yes.
Your father was Richard Stockton Cumming,
Yes,
right?
yes.
They both came to Elizabeth in about 1896.
I believe so. I wasn't born yet.
I know that. After they moved from one place to another,
Yes.
my father finally settled with his family at
Yes.
639 Wyoming Avenue,
Yes,
right?
I remember that.
And your
yes.
father finally settled with his family at what number Cherry Street?
42 Cherry
42
Street.
Cherry Street, Elizabeth, New
42
Jersey.
Cherry
all right?
Street. I forgot. I mean, I was very
right.
young then.
No. And they each had 6 children.
Yes, yes.
They each had 6
Oh,
children.
yeah, that's right.
And on your side, there was Edward K. Cumming,
yes.
Edward Knapp Cumming,
Yeah,
and Richard
Stockton coming.
Stockton Cumming.
Yes.
They're both now dead, right?
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
then who was the next? Margaret?
Margaret.
Margaret, who died
Margaret, yes.
after marrying Henry Schlaupitz,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
And then came you?
Betty. Oh, Betty.
Oh, that's right. You were in here already, aren't
Oh, I'm
you?
still living.
You're still living. And there was Betty Cumming.
Betty coming and,
And
then
Jean Cumming.
And well, Jean and I are the only 2
From
living.
your side, Jean,
Yes.
and you are the only ones
That's
remaining,
right.
right?
Yes, we're the only one remaining.
Right.
Jean,
Now, on my side, there was
Yes.
James Alexander Cumming,
yes, yes.
Robert Richard Cumming, my brother Rob,
Yes, yes.
Catherine Cumming, who is now married to Roy
Yes,
Nelson.
yes, she was.
Alexander McWhirter Cumming Jr.,
yes.
John Noble Cumming,
Noble coming, yes.
and Donald Cumming, who is me.
Yes, that's
Now,
right, yes.
And we were great pals way back in those days, right?
Yeah, yes,
Before
yes, indeed.
before radio, before television,
Yes, yes.
before anything.
Yeah, that's
And we
right.
had to make our own good times.
We
Am I
sure
right?
did, and we had wonderful times.
And we had wonderful times.
You bet.
We went up to Lake Apatcong.
Yes, oh yes,
and
we did.
all those sort of
Out
things.
in the rowboat. And
Out in the
everything.
rowboats. The
And-
biggest thing in our lives was the ride in a rowboat, right?
That's right.
Just about
that's
it.
right. Yeah.
We are now in this marvelous estate.
Yes, yes.
And we
yes.
thank you for
You're
the use of
welcome,
your
I'm
estate,
sure,
dear.
Anytime.
And
at
I would
all.
like to mention,
Anytime at all. Don't mention it.
with great affection, your husband Walter,
Thank you.
who passed
thank you.
away how many years ago?
21 years
21
ago.
years
yes,
ago.
a dear soul.
Thank you, dear,
You're welcome.
for your nice interview.
And you're welcome, I'm sure.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Goodbye.
This is Jack Cumming, my brother, who was, his real name is John Noble Cumming. He lives down in Florida, and I would like him to tell us something about himself. Well, do you remember the day you were born?
I don't remember that day, but they tell me it was August the 19th, 1904.
August 19th, 1904.
That's right.
And whom did you marry?
Evelyn Jeffords.
Why?
Evelyn Lott Jeffords.
Evelyn Lott. Now,
Yeah.
why did you marry her?
My Godfrey.
Come on, it's
A
going to be
man
on
came
record. It's gonna be
after
on
me
record.
with, I know, but he came after me with a shotgun.
And where have you lived most of the time ever since?
In Miami Shores, Florida.
In Miami Shores,
Yeah.
Florida. No. And what are you doing here?
Celebrating the 200th anniversary
Of who?
the signing of the peace of the Revolutionary War.
Very good, not bad.
Right.
Not bad.
I was primed on that
I know you were primed on that. Are you enjoying yourself?
immensely.
Good, good. Are you going to go in?
In the pool?
In the pool?
Never. If I got in the bathing suit, everybody would run out.
You mean that they'd be laughing at the scarecrow, right?
That's about it.
Jack weighs about 50 pounds, everybody.
Yeah.
I might say Jack is the most distinguished looking of our family, but it's only a trick of nature because he doesn't really have all the brains. I mean, other people have the brains. Okay, Jack, I can't think of anything else to ask, so I will thank you and ask you to bring over your brother Mac, okay? I have the honor of introducing my oldest living brother, Alexander McWhirter Cumming, who is now known as Mac Cumming. And you live at?
26 Vista Avenue, Elizabeth.
And you are the husband of?
Blanche Cumming.
One son, right?
Yeah.
What's
one
his
second.
name?
Richard Stockman Cumming.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How many grandchildren?
4.
4 grandchildren.
Yeah.
All right. That's about all I can get out of this
Okay.
fella. All right? Thank you. Now, this is Gene Cumming Burgermeister. You are the youngest of the surviving members of the oldest generation, right?
Right.
You are the youngest of the great-great-grandchildren of John Noble Cumming.
Right.
John Noble Cumming, as everybody knows, was born before the Revolution, and he fought for 10 years in the Revolutionary War, and he took part in a great many of the battles of the war, and he came out of it as a great hero, and he was later made a general, right? You say
Right,
yes.
yes.
Would you like to say something for yourself?
Yes, I would.
You know, this man says I talk too much.
I would like to say that my maiden name was Jean Blodgett Cumming, and the Blodgett was my grandmother's maiden name.
Right. You should be proud of it, dear.
I'm proud
right,
of it.
proud of it. So Jean married
And
Herman
thank you.
Burgermeister,
Right.
and she is now
That-
living happily ever after with him, right?
That's right. Now I'm Jean C.
No.
Burgermeister, but I keep
Jean
the
C.
C for Cumming.
No. I'd like to introduce my nephew, James Alexander Cumming, who was the son of my older brother, James Alexander Cumming Sr., and he is a member of the Society of the Cincinnati. I should explain that this society was formed by the officers of the American Revolution right after the Revolution, and that their rule is that their oldest sons and the oldest sons of the oldest sons and the oldest sons of those, for instance, would be the ones who would belong to this society. Now, Jimmy now lives in Titusville, New Jersey. He has retired after being the chief forester of the state of New Jersey, and he represents this entire family in the Society of the Cincinnati. He is in possession of the original the original, what do I call a certificate, which was signed by George Washington, giving our great-great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, his great-great-great-father, the membership in the society. Jimmy, would you like to say something?
Yes, I think it's a very proud heritage that we have in the Cumming family as a consequence of people that have gone before us and performed so heroically from the revolutionary times on. And I am proud to be a representative of the family in the society. Okay.
Jimmy's son, his oldest son, is already marked as the next member, right? What
Right.
is
His name is John Noble, after the original old general.
Right. John Noble Cumming was the son of Robert Cumming, who came over from Scotland about 1720.
Montrose, yeah.
Montrose, Scotland in 1720. Died in 1769, and we had a similar get-together about 14 years ago in 1969, gathering around his grave after he died 200 years ago, right?
At the old Tennant Church near Freehold.
Now, this gives us another opportunity to get together. We call it the 200th anniversary of the ending of the Revolutionary War, right?
Right, right.
If you have anything else to say, Jimmy, why don't you say it?
Well, it couldn't be more appropriate than to have this get-together and this congregation on the 4th of July. It was marvelous. I also want to say that I appreciate, Donald, the marvelous work you've done in getting the history together of the family. I appreciate having a copy, and I know we all do. Thank you very much.
Now, this is Edward K. Cumming, Jr., right?
Right.
Now, many years ago, I went to work for his father when he had started an automobile company in Elizabeth, and since then it has grown into one of the greatest dealerships in New Jersey. What kind of a car do you sell? Do you sell Fords, Chevys? What is it?
Well, currently we're selling Mercedes-Benz cars, exclusive Mercedes-Benz dealer for 26 years.
Are you the oldest in Jersey?
Yeah, we're the original dealer in the current distribution of Mercedes-Benz cars in the United States, and we're designated a pioneer dealer in 1977 at 20 years.
Well, that's amazing to know that you're one of the pioneers in that also, right?
That's right.
Now, I know you're quite proud of the fact that your ancestors were pioneers in transportation in New Jersey, right?
That's right.
John Noble Cumming started one of the first stagecoach companies in the United States right after the Revolutionary War, and he transported people from New York to Philadelphia and beyond, right?
That's right.
And his son, Alexander McWhirter Cumming the first, carried on his work until the railroads took over, right?
That's right.
And just too darn bad that they didn't invest in railroads at the proper time, or you and I would be sitting on the top of the world, right?
We often wonder what happened along the way.
Well, as they say, it's 5 generations from shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves, right? So I got the shirt sleeves, you didn't have to.
Well, I don't know. We're lucky what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Hello, I am Donald Cumming, WKC-TV, WCFI-TV, Re29270 TV, and all those other things. I would like to introduce my son-in-law, Donald Cassiato, of Bridgeport, Connecticut, who is the editor and owner of the Bridgeport Times, Tribune, and everything else.
I wish I was, then I'd have a swimming pool. I think someone should just go on the record here and commend you for the fine job that you've done here today, because if it wasn't for you, I don't think the history would have been written or this party would have been organized and that we would be here today. And yeah, let's have a big round of applause for Donald. That's what I wanted. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people talk about their families and they're going to write a history. I think there have been people in my family talking about it for like 100 years, and nobody ever writes the names down. And I'm afraid it's probably going to be all lost. And you didn't let it get lost, and you saved it. And I think everybody can benefit by it. And
I would like to introduce to you my wonderful wife.
Are we on?
Yes. Her name was Anna Snodgrass. She was born in Glasgow, and she was in the British Navy. and she met me in 1944 in London. In some manner or other, she managed to accept my proposal.
I met Donald in London in January.
Mom, don't try to,
Donald,
don't try to do everybody at once.
in January 1946. Was it? No, it wasn't 46, Donald. It was 44. You see, I said I never forgot that memorable day, and I already forgot it. Now, Donald was in the United States Navy, and I was in the British Navy. They're called as Jenny Wrens. And I must say, and again I agree with my son-in-law Don, that my husband Donald has done a beautiful job of writing the family history. And so I'll have to, pronounce him the genius for the time being. And it has been marvelous. Coming to America, meeting all the Cumming family, and there are many of them. I must say I'm very proud to belong to such a fine family. I'm not just talking about the history, which is wonderful to read. I'm talking about a very fine group of people, and I sincerely want to say that it was great to come to America, and especially great to marry Donald Cumming. Although I'm thinking of looking into my own family's history, the Snodgrass clan of Glasgow, Scotland and Northern Ireland, and I may kind of follow my genius husband. I'll try. Thank you very much.
My sister-in-law, Blanche Smart Cumming. The reason she's called Smart is only because she married a man named Smart, right?
Yeah, but my husband said I used to be smart, and now I'm becoming.
Oh, my God. She used to be smart, now she's becoming.
And
now,
I'm very happy to be. I'm very smart.
Whom did you marry?
I married Alexander McWhirter Cumming.
Now, what was his father's name?
His father's name was Alexander McWhirter Cumming.
There you go. That's
commonly called Lex.
Commonly called Lex.
Lex.
He was of the Wyoming Avenue Cummings, right?
Right, that's right.
And you are now living in Vista Avenue in Elizabeth.
Right.
And you are supremely happy to be married to one of our clan.
Oh, very. I wish there were more of them.
How lucky can you be, right? This is my sister-in-law, Evelyn Jeffords Cumming. Now, Evelyn married my brother Jack. And I'd like
John Noble Cumming.
I'd like you to say a few words for yourself.
Well, being from the Deep South,
yeah,
it was a great sacrifice for me to come up here with all these Yankees. But I have now been part of the Cumming family. Next year, it will be 50 years. So I feel like I am a Cumming now.
God, you're not finished yet.
Well, my goodness, I've been talking for half an hour.
No, you have not been talking for half an hour. We need this I now would like to introduce my daughter, who, Maggie, otherwise known as Margaret, Agnes Cumming, and she is now married, Mr. Casciato, right?
Yes, except my middle name is Mary, not Agnes.
Sorry, middle name is Mary.
He's only been my father for 36 years. Right. That's all right. Yes, and this is James. Okay. What am I supposed to...
Well, you're supposed to say something amusing.
Amusing!
I say something amusing.
Okay.
A couple of words about today.
Amusing.
I think it's been one of the most wonderful days we've had.
Who's going to take
And I'm thrilled about meeting all my relatives again and seeing all these people whose faces I haven't remembered from the last time. And I think James and Tom will, if not remembering it because they were here, because they're too young to remember it, they'll remember it from the pictures and from the videotapes, and it's very, very precious that they'll have the heritage to remember. And I think it's been a terrific day, and I wish my sister were here too, but at least Alec is here, and Mom and Daddy, and all these skillions of Cumming and Gotham relatives. We've had a terrific time.
Right now?
James
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mary Nelson, or Mary Cumming Nelson.
And Janet Cumming Landis.
Daughters of James Cumming. James Alexander Cumming, excuse me.
And Eve.
And Eve, who are here to celebrate this glorious occasion, thanks to our Uncle Donald and many more that put it together.
With all our relatives that we haven't seen in years.
About 20 years, and what a pleasure it has been. We have had the most beautiful day, weather-wise, fun-wise, memory-wise, and
we only wish that our dad could have been here to see it because he would have loved this day.
Yes.
Just for the record, how old are you?
For the record, be 86 in September the 19th, 1983. And in my course of living, I've just been able to do about everything that was possible. Now that I can retire and see all these young people around me and feel so good about it, I'm going to turn the microphone over to my next
daughter. Why don't you bring your daughter to the microphone? No, she's right over. We've already spoiled it for you because we established the age of your father. So
That's nothing to do with me, Don.
Come over. Your father confessed that he was 86.
Oh, he isn't even 86, so we'll give him that.
You mean he's lying about his age?
He's lying about his age again, yes.
Oh.
No, if you want the truth, I'll tell you the truth. I'm 45 years old.
So am I.
Oh, well,
there
see?
you go. We have something bias in common.
Yeah.
Maybe I think the best thing for this, if you tell a Cumming story or there's probably some vignette that you remember as a child or something that might be of interest to record here.
My goodness, my mind went blank, except that it's filled with, I'd say, loving memories of aunts and uncles and cousins, my mother's cousins, which I always considered cousins of mine, and family get-togethers, and just a general fun time like we're having today.
Yeah. Well, that house that your parents live in now, you were born in that house?
No, I wasn't. I was born in New York City, and then several months later, my parents moved to that house. And I've been living there since infancy, I would say.
But like if they were making the movie of the Cumming family, that would be the central core, or the focus of the whole thing.
Alexander McWhorter Cumming family, but the other side, the Richard Cumming family, would be 42 Cherry Street.
Right, okay.
But that was the family home for Jim, Rob, Mac, Jack, Catherine, and
so that goes back
Donald.
to at least, 1900 and something?
I think it was about 1914 or 15 that they moved in there.
Oh, I see, okay. And you're a downhill racer still, or have you gone to cross-country skiing now?
Oh, I'm cross-country. I'm all around. I, do downhill skiing.
Were you ever a downhill racer?
No.
No?
I could have lied just then, couldn't I, huh?
I guess you could have.
Established something here.
You ever break your leg or anything like that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You got injured?
Yeah, long history of that, but we won't want to go into that, because that could be a family weakness of some kind.
I guess we're supposed to find somebody else to talk to. Him on yet today. Tom, why don't you say something to the... This is one of the younger members of the family, and can you say something so we'll have it for posterity? What do you think about all this nice swimming pool and everything like that?
We have a nice swimming.
Have you been in the water today?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And we have a swimming pool and it has steps and slide.
We don't have a swimming pool.
Have you can play.
Can you sing a song? E-I-O, fee-fi, fiddly-I-O, fee-fi, fiddly-I-O.
Strumming and Leo Banjo.
Doesn't go that way. It's like a I'll find a way.
My name is Alec Cumming, and my name is actually Alexander, and I was proud to find out today that I was named after a guy named Alexander McWhorter, who's quite a historic figure. I don't know if anybody else said it on the tape, but it's written in some history books that Alexander McWhorter might preach to the troops that were going on the boat across the Delaware with George Washington and down in Trenton, and I was quite pleased and honored to find out that I'm a part of a historic family line. I'm 21 years old right now. It's July 3rd, 1983. I'm in the middle of summer classes right now at Syracuse University for television production, and I should be graduating, God willing, in 1983, May of 1983. wherein I will either become the director for the Today Show, or else a major rock and roll star.
James, come on over here. Catherine, Catherine, oh Catherine.
Take his pinky out. So long.
Oh,
You want to smile?
hang on.
Is it out?
Oh, can you smile? Can you smile? Huh? Come on, look up. He wants it.
Okay, I just want you to know that in my opinion, this child, who happens to be, by coincidence, a grandchild of mine, is the cutest, sweetest, handsomest, what would you like to say, and most intelligent baby of his age on earth. This is James Casciato. I should say James Cumming Casciato, all right? And and this is what he looks like without the thing in his mouth, all right? All right. So I just want you to thank you, Larry, for everything you've done, and we certainly appreciate it, and we're going to remember it for years and years to come.